Yo, what's up guys? Let's try out the newest LD5 that I do have, which is the Liliana, and let's actually try to find a match where we can kind of bruiser it out-ish. I think here at the bottom, might that be a decent bruiser? No, I actually have a team in mind, which I want to have a team that I can fully outspeed, but nowadays these are kind of hard to find. Okay, would that be a team over there? It is also kind of a tricky team to hit in the first place, so we can fully outspeed it, but it definitely will be a tricky team. But I think we're gonna try out the Liliana team that I have in mind over there, because might be a funny team. I tried this before. I was not really the biggest of fans of it. This is the Liliana build that I have right now, and I will try something similar-ish, but let's just try something that's maybe a little bit more fun. And with a little bit more fun also comes a lot more danger, so I want to see the team-ups happening on this, so I would have to make you move first and then you after, but you all the way first. So let's just see how that works out, but also let's put the right teams to everything over there, that we don't have to switch that much. Do these teams kind of work? This thing is mostly kind of swift-ish, but that team would work over there. This thing I guess can work. That thing can kind of work. Definitely some risky teams that I'm using throughout. But hey, you know how I like to do these kind of things. I would say that going Feng Yang is pretty nice, except for this dude. That dude, you don't want a Feng Yang right there. When in doubt, just YOLO. Yeah, we're just gonna YOLO that as well. We're just mainly going for this team anyways. So let's actually put some proper runes to this. And with proper runes, I mean really proper runes. So we're gonna go for the fastest despair set that I have. I actually have to do a proper reruning for all of this altogether, and I haven't done that in ages. But then again, it is World Guild Battle, which we do tend to care a little bit less about in this guild, but I should actually be starting to care a little bit more about it. Well, if I want to get the highest ranks, sure, you have to care. But we have a casual despair revenge set over there. That looks like a something. Tialing is kind of still in use. Let's just go for you. Let's just go for you. Yep, that's looking magnificent. Let's also boost you up by a little bit of speed. And how are we going to boost your speeds? Jeez, all of these runes are already decently fast-ish. Well, that's the issue. Everything is just a 27. It's not super fast, but it's decently fast. Do I expect him to outspeed me? I could also just go something like this. Yeah, that would kind of work. Except that I completely ruin my accuracy. But then we're gonna fix the accuracy somewhere else, right? Well, since we're working with a crit 4, that's kind of rough to do as well. Unless we go crit damage 4. But then we really don't have any runes to work with that. Okay, bad plan. I just want to speed this dude up a little bit. Nothing too crazy, nothing too fancy, so...
Speeding it up. And let's just go for some good old accuracy in here. That's not a crazy accuracy.
Let's just do this right now. We're overstacking on that for a bit, but that's fine. And then we're gonna make you just a little bit slower right after that. That's going to be the game plan, because I want to be decently fast enough to be outspeeding whatever they throw at me. So let's see what we can do on these. This is definitely going to be a little bit slower as well, but that one already in use. Everything already in use. Something along these lines, yeah, would kind of work. Does definitely feel pretty tricky. Crit damage is low. Yeah, sure. Definitely what we need. I kind of feel bad for this team, but we're gonna see if that's going to work. I probably don't really think that this is going to work, but hey, how do I even outspeed that guy? Wait, what? Wait, how do I even outspeed this? That is actually an interesting one. Okay, I guess that one unit on the left was not ruined. We're gonna be fighting whole non-ruined teams right now, because fighting non-ruined teams, that's easy. Okay, I think I just want to go for despair stun rather than anything. I could also go for a... No, let's just go for strip over there. Good despair stun over there. Let's do the change on this thing. Is it interesting enough? It does look really cool. So the skill one right now, we do have a chance to decrease their attack power and their defense, and then if that's already landed, we can go for more chance of stunning. So therefore the team up becomes interesting, because right now if we do a team up, we can stun the whole team, which that's kind of cool, right? Until we get like a good few hits and we nearly die. Wow, that's that was not that expected. Also, I'm not too sure who I want to be throwing this on, if I even want to throw this on anyone. It does have somewhat low-ish cooldown for the skills itself, but Can we go for this? Can we now kill this? Yep, we kill this, which gives me another team up. And because of the team up, I can go for a kill on you, which is also good. This is more a rogue showcase than anything. I'm not really sure, but because of all of those team ups, we get our skills back. Low-key, the team is kind of fun though, but in this case, we cannot really do anything else than just attack break, additional turn, and then we stun. Nice, nice. Okay, this was a crazy showcase of how to RNG your opponent, and it worked out. Did we crash? Nope. Okay, it almost looked like a crash for a second. Also, how the hell are we outspeeding these? Like, that's some interesting stuff right there, that we're outspeeding all of these things. But yeah, this is just like, if you want to build any team, build this team. It's so stupidly strong. There's no other words for it than that. Yeah, also, what are these teams? What are these runes? Like, this guy is not having any runes on any of these units or something. Half of them don't really seem ruined. Ah, nice strip, by the way. Was almost a strip. And yeet. So, yeah, Liliana. Let me know in the comments if you're using Liliana, and if so, where. And if you put runes on your defense. Like, that part is pretty important as well. Because this guy, Barrett, is like, runes on defense? Oh, hell no. We're just gonna end the living shit out of it, I guess, because half of those teams are semi-dangerous, but not dangerous if they don't have any runes on it. At least the Liliana, like the thing where we use the Liliana, did have some proper runes to it. So let's actually try to find a team where we can use the same team again. It is somewhat hard to find though, because you have to be fighting something that is semi-slow. It would be nice if the Liliana started off in the like the whatever, like the back form, whatever you want to call that kind of thing, because in that case she would have had like a self-protection. Ooh, we could use that all the way at the bottom. That's definitely a dangerous team right there to use it against, but we're gonna do that. So let's use it all the way over here. That's going to be a heavy Bruiser contest in the first place, but I'm curious to see if that's going to work out. Let's see what we have for the others. This one. This is always one of those. These things are mostly fast enough where they do actually mess me up, but I'm going to be that one guy that is too lazy to rerune, so we're actually just gonna place that over there. This one could definitely go pretty horrible as well. This one we're gonna be placing over there, and then this one we're just gonna snipe this out, then snipe that, and then we kind of have a good match at it. And all the way at the end we have this thing. This definitely could go pretty horrible. This is definitely, I should be reruning my stuff, but I've been saying that for way too long, that I should be reruning my whole World Guild Battle kind of hits, just to make things a little bit more safe and a little bit more sound and a little bit more better, because all of them just... That's also the thing, like, it's kind of annoying that your World Guild Battle is not connected towards your siege, because it would make so much more sense if it is connected to your siege hits, rather than your normal, well, normal whatever it is. Yay, we do outspeed. If we do outspeed, then this suddenly becomes easy. As long as the Maximilian lands the death breaks. Well, he lands that much death breaks that he pretty much one-shots this thing. Not sure what kind of build that on is. But these guys just don't want to do like proper builds on their shit, so I don't know. Like, we're hitting hard. At least do you have good damage? Yeah, it's okay, it's damage. We have a little bit more damage on that Tiana S2 right there. Also, we are outspeeding this. I think most dangerous is you. Okay, here come the ghosts. I'm not too happy with ghosts, but sure. Just a hit on that is actually not that bad. Hit on that is actually not bad at all. We have this, okay, on these two. That is still fine-ish. What we can do right now is spread this. Since we do still have that on you, let's take you out first. Let's go for stun. Let's not go for stun. You can stun that right now. I don't really care about you anymore, because we already killed the Oblivion unit, which was the most important. Thank you for that stun. Thank you for the hits over there. And from here, it is pretty easy to take anything down, because now also the passive from you works again. Even with that, nearly takes you out. Well, let's just start working on you again. Let's just actually take you out. Taking it out is always a better option. Or not always. Mostly a better option right there. But then this team is just so stupidly strong. It works against way too many things. Like, that's the main thing. Okay, we have this team going in. It does definitely notice where this thing is slow-ish. So let's first take you out. That's a guaranteed hit. This one can't really fully take it out, but doesn't really do too much damage. And then now we are bruisering against this thing over here. Did miss that. Not the biggest of issues, because we just slowly whittle it down. there's not too much damage he can do. And then we're gonna go into the team that we're actually most curious about. Definitely not gonna go for an S2 in that case, because then I would have killed my own Sonya, which is definitely not what we would like to do. So let's see what we can do over here. That thing is decently fast. Let's just try. Okay, we have all of that going. We have the Lord Hellbinding, whatever skill it is. The rates of landing one of the two is pretty high, and we missed both of it in this case. Okay, now we did land some. Let's go for the team up on you, and we stun everything with that. Nothing procced out. If nothing procs out, it's actually kind of nice, so we kill that over here. Oh, yo, Loki, this team is actually kind of gangster. That worked way better than expected, the team up. If you were to pair this thing with a Sylvia, it's actually kind of nice. Like, it's still by the odds, like, please, nothing proc out. I don't have any protection. If it does work, it does work. This particular team, it does have a few issues where you can only hit things that are HP elite. And if they're HP elite, you might as well just Tiana plus pushback and anything like that. But since we only had 2 short fights, I am fighting some of my guildies just to see if we can get some more hits in. Just to kind of see like how it does work against, well, anything and how it just prevails in the battle as well. It showed a decent amount of strength in the previous one, so we do miss over there right now. Do we land it there? No, but we do go for an insta-kill. We did not get any stunts. We do get the revive in there. But just a little bit more of a back and forth fight. So in this case, we do have that. It's nearly taken out right away if we do get the stunts in. I would definitely say that it does feel decently strong. Okay, wait, we had the we did have a miss over there, and I think we're going into a lose over here. So yeah, this is definitely the case where you do see it's like a bit more of a bruiser fight, and it's a bit harder to land all of the skills right now and get everything in where it does do good amount. Also, you can definitely see that the HP is super low, so you do decent to good damage. The Rook is definitely really nice with this because of that you have a lot more comeback mechanics. But you can definitely see that it is somewhat of a difficult fight-ish. So let's just try that again, just for the idea of it, seeing like where does it flaw, where does it not flaw. Once again, we get a stun on that. That's actually pretty early stun. So we go back into this mode. We go for this. Let's chop that once again. Good damage, nearly taking it out though. That's actually some effort on the damage right there. We can take that out on the first life. That is fine. And we go for another hit. Do we take that out? Nope, we don't. Crit damage low is really nice on the Rogue. I actually went for crit damage low artifacts on him for the specific reason that he has more chance of killing anything when he's just, or like when the enemy is on low HP, because making the kills on that is pretty strong. I would say it's actually... I'm somewhat impressed by how well it does do the Bruiser fights though, because I do know that these units are very strong runed. And it's actually taking them down relatively easily. There's a lot of debuffs working at the enemy. I could also say with the amount of debuffs that you're working with, that's going with a what's called with a Layla or something would probably be pretty interesting. But then again, where can you fit a Layla in where you can still also have the rest of the team where it does kind of work and it does do enough stuff itself. So in this case, we do lose this form. If we do lose this form, it is definitely a lot worse. And then it's like, okay, where do we actually want to place that? Well, in this case, we can definitely go for something along these lines. Can we go for the hit on that? Yep. Can we kill this? Yep. And then from this, we can actually have a team up. With those team up, we can still go for clears. And then we just have this form back again. So it is relatively fast to go back to this form if you are tanky enough. So far, actually, all of those rounds that we have been doing, I just want to do one more to see if it's not a fluke. All of these rounds that we have been bruisering thus far, this team actually does show a lot of strength. It's more of a fun team than a really solid and sound team, I would say. And it's also maybe a bit of a room quality team rather than anything. But it's showing some proper strength right there, especially if it's proccing. We're just taking out... Okay, I think that this is a good one to end up with, like, if we insta-clear this whole thing. Wow. Okay, somewhat impressed by this team right here. So it's definitely a solid team right there, but let's talk a little bit more about the specifics of this unit. This mischievous trap doesn't really fit her kit at all. You just want to be in this Lord of Hell kind of state. Big issue is Lord of Hell State, you lose a lot of your HP. They lowered the cooldown by a good bit that you get back into the skill with just a few procs, which is actually kind of nice. This thing doesn't even fit on the screen. A big issue is for defense that just placing a Juno against this or a Veramos really does mess it up. I can see some potential maybe. The nice thing is the moment you can start getting the stuns in. But yeah, you just stay at this at like a 75 rate and a 50 rate. So you kind of have to already have something else place that for you, or you have to additional turns to get into the stuns. It does do pretty good damage with the skill 1, I would say. I'm actually curious about the multipliers on these units. Let's look them up. Okay, it seems to be that the multipliers are not stated on this one over here. We just have the multipliers of that S1. I definitely do think that this is higher. You do get 50 extra crit damage when you're in the special form, so it's always good to go for a bolt on crit rate. I wouldn't go crit damage on it itself. Accuracy is definitely nice because you do want to be landing your skills as the attack power down and the defense down. Would I use this anywhere else for something that I would say, is it good for arena? No. Is it good for RTA? No, not really, because for RTA the big issue that she does have is, once again, the moment you start fighting any Junos or Pheromoses or anything like that, it's kind of bad. You also want to use it all the time with 2 AoE strips, but it's just kind of one of those things, like sure it def breaks, sure it attack breaks, and sure it can stun. But there are a few other units that can also do similar things, such as a Songqing Lao. Songqing Lao does that a lot better, so that is one of those things. Like this is 100 rate, or no, wait, it doesn't go all the way. Does he go 100 rate? No, just the stun is lower rate, I think, but this is a multi-hit. If they would ever place a multi-hit rate thingy on her, then sure, that she would be way too OP actually. Like that's one of those things, like how to buff it. If they were to put a multi-hit on this, it will be really busted, because then your rate of def breaking, attack breaking, and also the stun is gonna become super high, and then she becomes really nasty. But yeah, you gotta keep in mind this mode has half of her HP, which is just really low on the HP, which is really not that great. But I might be using her some more fun rolled guild battle kind of styles. I think it's definitely a fun unit. It's definitely a really cool looking unit. It would be nice if you right away start in the Lord of Hell state, so you have the double life in there or something like that. I don't know. Because right now, if you start in the normal state, you're really susceptible to a Sonya. So if you were to put her on defense, you just get Sonya'd or something like that. So that doesn't really help out. You have to make your team Sonya proof. I could maybe go for a team with like Lang, Liliana plus something, but even then it's still, you would have to put like a Taranis next to that to not get Sonya proof, or like to make it a little bit more Sonya proof. But even then I don't really feel like that team has enough protection, because she's just kind of weird for this S2. What is the other S2 that they have? Here comes the Ghost. Yeah, neither of the two S2 really does fit her kit at all, I would say. That's just kind of the big issue. I would say that this one maybe fits a little bit more. If you place this on like a support that's next to you, definitely have a little bit more protection, any kind of good stuff like that. But yeah, let me know in the comments, where would you use Liliana? Because I'm curious to hear about you guys, but this is where I used it. I definitely did like it with the Rogue team up, so you have the double chance of getting this skill off right away. And then Iris next to it is just good for the strips, because you definitely do want to pair this with a strip. But I was looking for a strip that has a strong S1 to team up with as well, which definitely is Iris. And then also something that also had some healing value in there. So that's all for this video, guys. Hope you did enjoy this video, and see you as always in the next one. Thanks for watching. If you would like to see more guides, join the Discord and check out the content tab for the guide video archive, which contains all of the guides that you might need. Hope to see you there.